Geojit Financial joins us now to discuss market fundamentals and its top sectoral picks. Thank you so much, Pawan, for joining us. First up, what do you make of banks and financial stocks, especially after the announcements that came in yesterday from the RBI?
I think this sector is well poised. It has been a big underperformer in last 1 or 2 years, and valuations across the board, be it large cap, mid cap, small cap, I think valuations are very, very, very comfortable. I think one of the great things, in our opinion, that's happened in this sector is that going into the result season, people were fearing, analysts were fearing that the contagion of MFI and unsecured loans will actually spill over onto other subsectors as well. But the fact of the matter is that forget about contagion. Even I think that cycle is reversing. Many of these institutions have seen improving collection efficiency in December and January. And very clearly, I think what RBI has done with this OMOs helps a lot in easing liquidity and bringing credit growth back. So I think this sector obviously deserves a lot of attention. It has been a big underperformer, and if credit growth was to come back, I think this sector can deliver very strong returns going ahead with a 1 or 2 year point of view.
Pawan, hi. Morning. Everyone's talking about DeepSeek and how it's rattled Wall Street, particularly the tech stocks. What are the implications for the Indian space? Would there be any data center related stocks that you would watch very carefully? Would there be any tech stocks? What are you telling your clients about the potential for India and they hit?
See, a lot of these things that are happening globally, I would want to believe that India is largely immune to all of that. I mean, India hasn't made any strides as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. India's data center demand is completely driven by what organically data we are generating within the country. I don't think India is anywhere in the race of this AI-led war that's happening between the two global biggies. Okay, so I don't think this has got anything fundamentally to do with Indian or Indian companies. But having said that, I must tell you, sentimentally obviously adds a lot of negative sound bites, because I will just draw some parallel to other sectors. Say, for example, renewables. Very clearly, we know that Donald Trump doesn't have a very positive view on renewables. And that is the reason Indian renewable stocks have fallen left, right, center. But the fact of the matter is that Indian renewable companies are only catering to domestic demand. And in India, renewables are far more competitive than the conventional power. So in India, investments in renewables will continue for a very long period of time. Right. So I'm just trying to draw parallel. There are a lot of this, sound bites that's happening globally. There is a sentimental negative to it for some of the Indian companies, but I don't think fundamentally it changes earnings profile of any of the companies for next 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years.
Understood that. Pawan, you've spoken about renewables and the relative insulation of Indian renewable companies from the kind of statements that Trump has made. Well, one sector that is impacted, of course, are stocks, that make modules, especially in the solar value chain. Those companies have seen stocks fall anywhere between 30 to 40% from the recent peaks. Any views on those stocks? Do you feel they are good buys from here on, names like Premier Wari? And on the other hand, what is your sense on the entire power sector? Most of the power stocks too have corrected quite significantly in the recent past. Most of them are down between 12 to 15% from their recent highs.
Right. No, in fact, I would want to believe a lot of these power stocks are down even 20-30% from their recent highs as well. Very clearly, power is a pure play domestic story. If I have always maintained it that be it digital India, manufacturing India, or anything, if India is supposed to grow, the long-term multiplier that power demand has is something like 1.5x of GDP, right? So take a 10-year view, power demand will grow at least by about say 8 to 10% in the country. So very clearly, power stocks are. I think it's a great opportunity to accumulate these stocks in the recent corrections. Coming back to some of the renewable names, I must tell that I think it's time for some wait and watch period, because I would want to believe a lot of this chat which is going on. We have to wait to see how much of that actually happens on the ground. To give you some example, a lot of these Indian companies who've gone ahead and made investments in US have made investments into manufacturing capacities, and that too in states which are primarily dominated by Republicans, right? So would you want to actually dismantle all of those machineries and get rid of all those investments in manufacturing? I doubt. So it's just early days for Mr. Donald Trump out here. I think we should wait for a month or so to actually see all that all that chatter that is going around, how much of that actually physically takes shape on the ground. So I would not want to jump the gun and straight away sell a lot of these stocks.
Understood that, Pawan. Thank you so much for joining us, giving us a sense on the markets and your views, especially on the power space. Time now for a short break. On the other side, we put the spotlight on auto giants like Bajaj Auto and TVS Motors, which are expected to report their Q3 numbers today.